we are going to understand how JavaScript handles asynchronous operations using three approaches: callbacks, promises, and async await. In this demo, I will show you how the same process looks and works using each method. Imagine we have two tasks. First, we need to fetch a user by their ID and then fetch that user's posts. Let's see how it looks with each method. First, let's start with callbacks. You will see that we are calling a function named fetchUser, passing in the user ID and a callback function. Once the user is fetched, the callback gets executed, where we log the user to the console. Inside that same callback, we call fetch posts for that user's ID and again pass a callback. When the posts are fetched, the second callback is executed and the posts are logged. But if you look at the structure, it becomes deeply nested with functions inside functions. This makes the code harder to read and manage. This problem is known as callback hell. So while callbacks work, they are not very clean for complex flows. Now, the demo shows how promises make this better. Here, fetchUser returns a promise. We use the then method to handle the result. In the first then, we receive the user object and log it. Then we return fetch posts, which is another promise. In the next then, we receive the posts and log them. This chain of then calls is much cleaner and flatter than callbacks. It reduces nesting and makes the flow easier to follow. But still, with long chains or multiple error handlers, promise chains can get confusing. Finally, let's look at async and await. This is the cleanest and most modern way to handle asynchronous code. In the demo, you can see that we have an async function. Inside this function, we simply write code in a top-to-bottom manner. We await the fetchUser function and get the user result. Then we log the user. Next, we await fetch posts using the user's ID, and then log the posts. The beauty here is that the code looks synchronous, but is actually asynchronous. It's easy to read, easy to write, and much easier to debug. In summary, callbacks were the first method, but they lead to nested code. Promises made this better with chaining. Async and await make it even better by writing asynchronous code in a synchronous style. So always prefer async and await for writing clean and readable asynchronous code. If you found this helpful, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more in-depth programming tutorials with animations. Have any questions? Drop them in the comments below, and I'll be happy to answer. Happy coding!